Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bowstring Tension Cup Finals. I am very honored to be joined by Codexhel. From we do the show Gwent After Dark, and we will be shoutcasting today's championship.
Yeah. Hi guys. Looking forward to be doing this. This is gonna be an epic match, hopefully, and it'll be interesting. You know what we said on Gwent After Dark? We're gonna make some predictions about which decks we brought to conquest from the top players. So why don't you start with your predictions, sir?
If I am going to guess, we're broadcasting the final, and it's a best of three. Um, if I had to guess which two decks were going to be in the final, I would say one would most definitely be a Soyatel, and the other would probably be Monster Consume. I know I'm going on a limb, right? Just, who could guess? But those would be the two I'd think. What were you thinking?
Well, just to be interesting, I'm gonna have to guess something slightly different. I'm going to guess that we've got a Scoia'tael, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say Nilfgaard just because I'm being biased here, obviously.
Nilfgaard. Really? I mean, I would think so. Your dark horse is Nilfgaard, not
Well, I
Monster
could have
Weather?
always just said the same thing as you, but where would be the entertainment value in that?
Yeah, but if you had to pick a dark horse, would it be Nilfgaard or Monster Weather?
Monster Weather can do really, really, really well in the Conquest format, so totally. But at the same time, then we're just guessing the same factions, so that's exciting.
Yeah, so we are brought to you. I'd like to thank the people of Coil Gaming. They put on this tournament, and by the way, for y'all that are watching this on YouTube or if you're watching live, every Monday on Battlefy.com, and they will link it in the YouTube video. You can register. It's a great way to grow the community. The guys and gals do a really good job of making this tournament very tight, run really well. They have prizes. That's right, there are prizes. It's not just a tournament to just have a tournament, although that would be great. They give you prizes as well. And I mean, it's on the sixth one. The next one is May 1st, this Monday. We will be shoutcasting every single one of them. Now, we may do it at different times because I just want to thank Codexhel. He is up at the wee hours of the morning to do this show with me, sacrificing his personal time, and I do thank him for that. But what do you think? What do you think about the Bowstring Tension Cup? You just kind of familiarize yourself with it. Where do you think it's going? How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, one thing I would say is that I think that fair play to all organizers of the tournaments. Like, big shout out to the core game guys, obviously, but this game is on the rise, and there are so many tournaments that are basically community run. Like, I mean, have you ever noticed that the admins on these tournaments are always the same guys? It's like Ruben, it's Play, it's all these same guys who just keep dedicating their time weekend after weekend. So big shout out to those guys. Get in the scene, guys. Like, it's just gonna be so much fun, and it's a real honor to get back to casting. Like, since I've taken an extended break after my Dora 2 days, it's good to be back.
And we are, yes. And so Artes is the guy behind the scenes, or the guy that put me, I kind of got in contact. I don't know if he's officially running the tournament, but he is one of the guys running the tournament. And he has given us a chance to shoutcast it. We will be having this on our podcast, and I had to do a shameless plug. Of course, it's me. GwentAfterDark.podbean.com. It'll be a link, and you can listen to this live, all this great talk and the action we're going to call. For today's telecast, it's a little different. If you followed me and other shoutcasting Gwent venues, I'm usually the color guy. In this case, I'm going to be play-by-play or giving the calling the action, and Codexhel, who is very, very good at description, will be the play-by-play or the flavor text kind of guy to kind of walk you through some of the more advanced plays. So, I think it'll be. I'd be shocked if Soyatel wasn't in it. What deck do you think would win? What deck do you pick? The Monster Consume or Soyatel?
I think both are really, really strong. I think both of them are very, very prominent in this meta. But there's something to be said about the fact that we're in Conquest, the fact that we're in the tournament format. It means that off meta decks might actually be quite favored. Like, I mean, look at it this way: something like just off the top of my head, Warcry Skellige. That is actually the one archetype in Skellige that can just bring lots of points quite reliably, right? That has no place on the ladder because people run Gigni, people run Scorch, people run multiple Scorches. It's pretty terrifying. Whereas in a tournament environment, in Conquest, you can target very specific matchups. So you can get away with something that might be a bit more off-meta, but has good percentage win rates in that specific tournament. So don't write anything off. Even somebody bringing an original deck, like I did with Past Flora, can have quite good success. So I wouldn't write anything off.
Now, also, that brings me to mind, would you, if on a weekly tournament like this, would you bring in is there a chance it just came to me while you're talking, what about a Radovid? What is there a chance we see a specifically designed Radovid targeted at one of those 2 power decks?
Okay, so here we've got the problem. I don't think we're going to see a Radovid at all. Radovid control specifically. Like, Radovid these days tends to be a tech leader card in place of Full Test because it serves a purpose of stunting the opponent's point potential. But you're not going to see anything like the old school Radovid control because that just can't compete really with this current efficiency meta. Because, more often than not, you're going to have something like Alza's Thunder +1 in the final round, and you can't really compete with a full complement, compared to something like the Neneke into King of Beggars into Priscilla combo, or using Shani.
Yeah. So
you can't compete with that in round 3. So that kind of archetype has gone into the background in this meta. On the other hand, Radovid running in an otherwise like a full test swim swarm deck can just run with Radovid instead and aim for high points itself.
Very cool. Very good analysis. That's why he is the color man. All right, so I think unless you have anything you want to say before we begin, I think we just jump right into it, see what our challengers have brought to the table. I can tell you that the 2 players, and I asked, it was a really funny conversation. I asked one of the finalists, his name is CIEF is his name, and I asked him, how do you pronounce that? And he said he honestly doesn't know.
Well, you don't always have some kind of real world meaning, right? Sometimes they're just leisure spams. So,
yeah.
To be honest, I respect that more than Fiery Dragon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No,
like 1998.
It's awesome. I know I'm gonna butcher it. Like that's the only reason I don't like. So I'm just gonna say Seth. Does that sound good?
Cool, Seth. That works for me.
Kind of phonetically, it could be pronounced that way. So it's Seth versus a much easier to pronounce Randy of Sintra is in the finals.
Randy of Sintra made it. Good for him.
Yes.
I played against him a couple times in the Past Flora.
What does he usually run?
Good for him. In the Past Flora I won, he was running Skellige, but Skellige has since received significant nerfs. I'm going to presume that he's adapted to this current meta. Good players will always do that. But anyway, shall we move on?
Yes. So it's Seth against Randy of Sintra, both ranked 15 legend players in the championship of the Bowstring Tension Cup held this Monday. We're broadcasting it today on Wednesday, and we will broadcast the next one next week. But you can sign up for the next one on May 1st. So without further ado, from Coil Gaming, this is the Bowstring Tension Cup Grand Championship Week 5. And we will get it started. Now, hold on. Before I do that, let me change this. Hold on. I got too excited. Let me now hit the play button and start the action. All right, so here we have Skellige, and we have Soyatel. Which one will it be? I did not see it. It looked like he picked Soyatel. Let me get that big Gwent After Dark logo.
Not sure either. But would it be possible to full screen that, sir?
Mahakam wasn't built in a day.
Yes. Let me lower the volume.
We've hammered enough. Let's get to work.
All right.
All right. So he did pick Soyatel. It is full screen. I can shift it. It'll be a little distorted. There we go. So we're looking at a Soyatel deck. We have Clear Skies. He's dropping it. We have a Vryhead Dragoon. He's dropping it for another Vryhead Dragoon. This looks very similar to the standard Vryhead Dragoon pumping action. There's Roach. He's probably going to drop Roach. Let's see if we can, you know what we can do? We can actually pause the action, and let's do that. Let's go back. Let's do a little, let's go back and do, I don't know what I just hit. There we go. We're going to pause it on the opening hand and let you do some analysis if you don't mind, sir.
All right. So what we got? We definitely have Brian, which is like fantastic. That's the most important thing. Like opening with Brian in hand. It just gives you the maximum flexibility because you can use it for both removal as well as your win condition. You don't really want to have her in your deck. You want to have her to be in your hand, and that's, over the course of 3 mulligans, generally around 50-50, so that's not bad. Roach is in hand, which of course you never want in hand. I presume the deck might run Aileron. Obviously, I'll wait up for Gwent Tracker when it shows up on my screen. And generally, Roach is something that you want to mulligan away second, because you want to have the option to decline the third in some cases, like just general hand quality. King of Beggars is excellent. I'm going to hold on to that. But we're looking at something that is a very, very standard Codexhel control. It's running Dwarven Skirmishers for something a little bit, like row diversity is nice, because in this meta, like, you're going to have random weathers. So it's nice to have it in comparison to, say, the Dolbatana Archers. This is a very nice hand, though, and he's just going to mulligan away and try to improve it. I think we're good on that one.
All right. So he's going through, he's looking through his deck. He drops the Clear Skies. Obviously, he's going to drop the Roach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was, oh, my God, I forgot his name. There was the guy you used in first round for high power, Isengrim.
Yeah. So this is pretty much as good a hand as you're gonna expect in this opening hand. Like, he gets a Glace as well last, but that's pretty perfect.
Randy of Citrus starts off with the first Milva into Roach combo.
Yeah, very nice. Like, always nice to have the Milva into Roach. Acts basically like an 8-point spy in your favor.
And
pretty sweet.
Yes, and Sif comes back with, of course, Isengrim starting off the round 1 power build.
So if you notice, he's running King of Beggars, which will, I presume in his list, like, he's only running, the only forwards he's running is Elven Mercenary, so he can start off nice chains with, like, Decoy onto his King of Beggars and pull out another. Yeah, so this is a very, very high level thing.
Looks like it's very close to a mirror match, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're running very, very similar decks. Like, the only difference is, of course he's running Dwarven Mercenary, which is interesting. So, very, very key thing is that right now, Sif is really lacking his Elven Mercenaries and has no access to them because he's not running Ethne. So Randy can actually push forward, and the Isengrim is actually not doing much.
So at this point, I put a little pause in the action so we can kind of break it down, because as you know, if you played on the ladder, this action is pretty fast and furious, and this is the first time I've been able to really control the pacing of the show. So right now, if you're looking at it from Sif's point of view, where are you going? You have 3 Vrihedd Dragoons in your hand. Are you looking to put it into Big Red or Bran? Are you looking to start that power build? Where do you think he's going to go here?
Well, I mean, it depends on what silvers he holds, because I'm not actually sure. Bruverhoog would provide an option, but it's basically one of two things. You either start getting your Brian buffed up with a Dragoon, or you can pull maybe Decoy from Bruver and Bruver out again and hope that you're going to pull an Elven Merc, because that's really, I mean, obviously this deck has Elven Mercenaries, right? So, and clearly the only strength card that they're going to pull out is a 4, because they pulled out a Dwarven Skirmisher earlier. So Decoy from Bruver is an option, and Dragoon.
Oh, very interesting. I did not think about that. So Decoy, the King of Beggars, bring him back at 6, pull out hopefully an Elven Mercenary and start a chain?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
But
okay.
At the same time, if he's running Blue Mountain Commandos, he hasn't really got a good Blue Mountain Commando target. I'm not sure. I would be interested to see the list. But in that case, then that might be why he's developing the Dragoon first, to give himself a good balanced target with Blue Mountain Commando.
Very good. Let's see where he goes. So it looks like he's highlighting over the Vrihedd Dragoon. Looks like that is going to be the play. And he's going to pump up Bran, Big Red. Very good play. Randy of Sintra responds. He might have an idea of what he's pumping up. He just gets rid of that Roach. It serves no purpose.
So he just, like, one of the things that, like, say, Francesca decks can sometimes do is buff up Roach and shuffle it back into the deck, but Bruver doesn't really have that option, so he's just going to play it before it becomes a tempo problem and he actually ends up falling behind.
Now, that was an interesting play by Randy. He drops... God, right now my head is completely out of it. He drops the spy and then puts it down. Now, what do you think he's going for there? Why would Randy drop the spy? Is he conceding the round? Is he setting up a play, or is he just searching for something?
Well, I mean, the only plays that he could possibly be setting up are Gigny. I mean, Scorch isn't really a setup because you're kind of trading your spy for Scorch. So Gigny is the only real thing, but it's like in all likeliness, Randy of Sintra's hand texture is just a bit odd, and he's using Yavin to try to resolve it. Like right now, he hasn't got any kind of real efficiency tools like on his board. He hasn't got Isengrim or anything like that. So he's probably just trying to play the round slow and maybe force out a pass from Sif.
Very good. So let's see how Sif responds to that. The Yavin goes down. He plays his own Yavin. It's Yavin on Yavin action, only at the Bowstring Tension Cup. A beautiful cost play, and now the ball is firmly back in Randy of Sintra's court.
Yeah, it's notable that the only counter to spies is to actually just play your own spy back.
So what do you think Randy of Sintra is pumping up? Is it a Bran or is it a Torville?
There's really no way of telling. Like, the reality is, all you can do is just count up the number of buffs. And, you know, the main thing that's important is that card advantage might become an issue later because you might be concerned about exactly what he does. And this is a really good play. He plays out the Teruvial now. That's his last silver. He knows it's his last silver, so he wants to get it out to make sure that his draws next round aren't going to completely nullify the effect of Bruver.
Very good, very good. Now, what do you do here? As Randy of Sintra is ahead, he has card advantage. He has one more card than the opponent. He's up by 4. Does he press the advantage or pass? He goes ahead, plays an archer, and drops some points down, gives him a nice, comfortable 11-point lead. It's now Safe's turn. He goes into the Vryhead Dragoon, pumps up Big Red again. He's really playing for the third round, isn't he? For the Big Red swing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, there isn't a better target for Dragoon, and it's really nice that was a nice place from Randy. Very, very stable, like just sniping off the King of Beggars, because there is an off chance that Sif has access to a decoy, so he really needs to get rid of that to prevent decoy value.
Yorvith makes an appearance, brings out Roach, a beautiful, 15-point play from Sif to bring it down to a 1-point, very tightly contested first round. The Scorch, interesting to know, would do no benefit to Sif right now, as it would take out both 14s.
I mean, Sif is going to be setting up for a pass soon. He doesn't want to commit Brian this round. And he's quite far ahead right now because that Teruvial is worth 14 points, so that's 64-51. See what Randy does.
Great play by Randy. Uses Cyprian to totally eradicate the Roach from Sif's side.
Sif is still technically ahead by 3 points, and he really wants to decide. I mean, probably you commit the Skirmisher, right? Yeah, you commit the Skirmisher.
And Randy's got to know that that's got to be a Torville, at least playing around the case that it would, so he is adding up the points in his head. He should know that he is behind. We don't know what he has in his hand, but what would you be doing? Would you be going aggressively to take this round, considering you've committed so many cards? Or
well, I mean, winning round 1 is totally the thing in meta, and both sides committed 2 golds. Although I would put a slightly higher value on a Glace than perhaps Yorvith, and especially in later rounds, Isengrim's going to be a completely dead draw pretty much. So realistically speaking, Sif has got both the point advantage right now. He's down 1 card, but he has got probably the better hand texture as well. And there you go, like Randy passes. Just conceding the round. Like, he knows that he knows that's a Teruvial. There's no way that this deck is running a Kieran.
So what do you think? So if you're now going in, I paused it a little bit so we had a chance to catch our breath. So at this point, it looks like Sif is going to win round 1, obviously. Is he because he has that Scorch, is that Scorch really a dead card considering he has a 16-point brand? Is he kind of in a bad position going into round 2?
To be honest, Scorch is probably a dead card because he's going first. So this is the key difference. Like, so Randy started losing the coin flip, so he was half a card down, and now Sif is gonna be 1.5 cards down because he has to go first as well. So this Scorch is gonna get probably no value. He probably needs to dump this Scorch in round 2 and just try to get Randy to expend the card. But actually, I would say this game is very even. Like, Scorch is a dead card, Brian's nice, but Randy has to go first in the last round the last round does happen, which probably will.
Very good, very good. So 67-55, Sif wins the first round of the best of 3. He's 1 up. If he wins this, he goes obviously up 1 up in the tournament. 1 step closer to victory and ultimate exhilaration. We get a Milva. So could we see the Milva Roach play right off the bat?
Absolutely. Like that gains you 1 card advantage. So you're going to do that instantly. So the play is probably going to be something along the lines of, I mean, you're going to want the Milva Roach instantly and see what he drops. You're going to look for an opportunity to use your... Oh, he doesn't have Roach.
That's right. Remember Cyprian Wiley?
Banished.
Yeah. Cyprian destroyed it.
Oh, no. Well, that might be fairly costly. Like, he already doesn't have a good pass. He doesn't have a good score target because of the Roach. So he's going to rally because that's not a great card to hold. And you want to thin your deck a bit more to try to improve your draw for round 3.
So he's hoping against all hope right now that Randy drops a card higher than 5, right? To use that Scorch and drop it out of his hand?
No, you use the Scorch anyway. Like, this is one of the situations. Even if he drops like a 3, which they never do, because Scorch doesn't really have 3s, you just Scorch the entire board because you can't take that into round 3, I don't think.
So you're saying even if he didn't play right there, he got rid of the sides. You're saying that he should just go ahead and use that Scorch on that Neophyte. But even if he didn't have the Neophyte, even Scorch his own units would be a good play there?
Well, you're not going to carry your Scorch into round 3, are you?
Fair enough. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just reiterating your point. That's interesting.
So, interesting. Like, he's really committing for this. I think this is potentially awkward. Like, are you all in right now? Like, is that it? Like, because now the Scorch is completely awkward. Oh, man.
So I paused it here again. So with the play there, would you have gone ahead and just Scorched that Neophyte? Or would you... Yeah, okay. I'd make sure we're on the same page.
I don't see any use for it. Now he can't even play Scorch without just... I mean, he can play Scorch now still, and his opponent has to play a card because that brain just takes it, right? But at the same time, super awkward.
Let's see if that goes back and haunts him here. 21-20, Randy of Sintra is in the lead. He has 1 card advantage, which...
1.5 card advantage.
1.5 card, fair enough. So here we go. He's actually thinking about it. This is not on pause. This is live. We don't know what he has in his hand to really know. So I'm sorry, that was Sif's turn. He passes, giving him the round, letting Randy of Sintra have the round. Because he really had nothing to do. If he's Scorched, he would just do more damage to himself. He doesn't want to use Bran in the second round. He wants to save it for the third round. That Scorch is really hanging like an albatross around his neck right now.
So this is the part of the reason why Cyprian Wiley is gaining a lot of traction at the top level of play. Banishing Roach and also banishing stuff like Neckers and preventing them from... Because even if the Necker's buffed, you can... Oh god, that's just a horriblest draw. I don't see how CF wins. Like, he's got a huge problem right now because like Randy's got something that's multiple times buffed, and this Scorch is completely dependent on the value of what Randy plays now, which he might play a gold. Yeah, he plays a gold, so the Scorch is just killing a 4 Roach.
He was able to Scorch that Roach, so their battle of Scorches, both Scorches are dead in their hand. Will Bran... Looks like Bran will actually be the play here. Depends on that last card that Randy had.
Oh, he has no choice.
Bran on Bran action.
Oh god. And there's a buffed unit, so CF loses because that is at least 2 times buffed. Yeah, he's done.
What a great round! You talk about a mirror match coming down to who played their King Bran. Who played Bran last or Bran last? Big Red, as I call her, because I'm tired of mispronouncing her name. Beautiful Big Red turn there at the end. Doubles. They both had Scorches. They both had Big Red in their hand, and that is how it went down. What are your thoughts on that first game?
So that was a game where card advantage just basically dictated the winner, because like in a Bran versus Bran, I mean even the Scorches didn't count because they didn't in that game. The Bran versus Bran matchup is all about who smacks who, because even if the Bran is smaller, as was the case here, if you smack a 16 with a 12, that's going to end up with 4 versus your 12, so 8 points in your favor. So even with fewer buffs, card advantage wins you there. Wins you the game. So that was a big game where Cyprian Wiley had a big effect because Milva suddenly became quite dead. Milva is very anti-synergistic with something like Brian. There was nothing to pull back into his hand, really. And if, like, if he had first lighted and rallied something first, it was unlikely that he'd be able to pull that back with Milva anyway, but that was the right play. So I think Sif had rushed his play. He didn't really realize or had forgotten that Roach was dead because he wouldn't have played Milva that quickly, even if that is the right play anyway, which it probably was. You could tell that he was just rushing. He was like, oh, Milva in round 2. I won round 1. I've got Roach. Oh, wait. Damn it. So, Sif needs to slow down, take a deep breath. Like, still 2 games to go. He's still allowed to bring a Scoia'tael for game 2. He's allowed to bring his Scoia'tael, whereas now Randy's Scoia'tael is now banned. So, interesting to see what both players bring to it. What do you reckon? Do you think that he's going to stick with Scoia'tael, like Sif?
Yes, I think that. I mean, I think that he has to. I think they've pretty much committed to. I think he's going to try to. He's going to ride with it until he gets beaten. You know what I mean? Like he's got to feel good about his Scoia'tael at this point because he's already beat the mirror match. So whatever Randy brings, whatever Sif brings here, Randy's got to feel pretty good about it. So it will be very interesting to see how this goes.
Just a reminder, it's Conquest, so loser gets to play their deck again if they want to. Winner can't play it again. So it's Sif who lost with his Scoia'tael but has the option to play it again.
I'm very sorry. Yes, Sif. So Sif will probably have to go with his Scoia'tael to get that win. He's got to feel confident. I don't think he doesn't know what Randy's playing as his second choice. So I think you just got to roll with Scoia'tael.
Fair enough. All right, so
let's see what we got. All right, so Sif decides to go into the game 2 with Scoia'tael indeed. It'll be interesting to see which deck Randy brings to the table. Randy just needs to win 1 game, and he is the champion of the Bowstring Tension Cup number 5. Brought to you by Coil Gaming. They do it every Monday. Go to battlefy.com. The link will be on the YouTube page. Monster Consume, if I'm guessing.
Oh, you're guessing. Okay. I was like thinking, wait, we switch. Yeah. So, in theory, Randy could be running Weather, but 90% of the time it's going to be Consume.
Well, we see in the opening hand. Now, I'm going to ask your opinion here. When you see 3 golds and a Yavin, does that give you a feeling of joy, or would you rather see your golds come to you later on? Are you happy to see them all right here? What are you thinking of that hand comes up?
It's not just the goals. Scoia'tael, especially this kind of efficiency round 1 thing. I mean, okay, so Dragoons are really awkward to hold 3 of. Super awkward. They're ideally a round 2 place, so you're going to see him drop Dragoons first. He's holding 3, so in general, in the game, you don't want to mulligan that away first, because you want to generally make your first mulligan a good blacklist. But I suspect he's going to start by throwing away some Dragoons just because it's so awkward to hold Dragoons. Just to see why. Like, you don't hold enough spells to justify Isengrim, and you haven't got anything good to buff yet. So the Skirmisher and the Dragoons are the awkward part of this hand, and you're going to see him dropping some of those. Maybe even holding on to the first light, potentially, if he's worried about not drawing any Elven Mercs.
So he needs a target. So those Dragoons, like you're saying, those Dragoons are pretty much, they're very awkward. There's nowhere for them to put their points currently, unless they put it on themselves, or the next one down. But that's not the play you want to make right now.
So maybe drop the the Dwarven Skirmisher first because you want to get a blacklist. But depends how bad he thinks his hand is. Like, both are perfectly decent first to blacklist.
All right, so he drops the first guy, brings out the Milva, which gives him a chance for the Milva-Roach combo. He drops the Skirmisher. Like you said, there's Big Red. That couldn't possibly make him any happier. Gets a little Alzur's Thunder action. That's got to be a good sign.
Great. Like, massively improved his hand texture.
I guess
you didn't mention that he drew a Elven Mercenary. So I think that's a mistake. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure he runs Elven Mercenaries, right? That would be so strange if he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it has to. So he is. He did the.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
What? He just passed up Milva Roach.
Yes, I was about to say the same thing. That's very interesting considering he only has 2 spells and no Elven Mercs in hand to possibly get value out of it, or as much as he could.
Okay, so I think he's already misplayed out the gate, sadly. Like, Milving Roach is really important because, like, fundamentally, this could be a weather deck at any point. Like, you need to go for Milva Roach when you have the option. At the same time, okay, it's not the end of the world. Milva can have very, very good applications against Consume by just milving back their biggest unit. So, not the worst thing, and it is Consume.
Yes, it is Consumed, definitely. We see the Ekamara drop. So you're thinking that his line now is to save Milva, maybe pop back, let's say there's a 12 strength Ekamara on the board now, but maybe there's a 24, 30 strength Ekamara, pop that bad boy back, make him lose a lot of points. So he's saving it for maybe a defensive Milva as opposed to a hand-building Milva.
It's decent. It's definitely decent. I mean, he doesn't access the Scorch, though. Like, you have to remember he's running Broover, so he's going to be able to Broover Scorch anything at will. So I feel like the card advantage against Dagon is more valuable. But anyway, the other thing that I wanted to mention is I really, really find the mulliganing away of First Light to be suspect when you have no access to Elven Mercs. If you're running Elven Mercs yourself, you really, really want to make sure that you can access those. And he's pressured into a position, like, he's already pressured into a position where he has to use Yorvith for points. That's not what you really want to do. What you really want to do is, like, get your Elven Merc chain going. But he's already showing he wants to end this round early because he's running a proactive plays, right? Like, there's no Elven Merc, and Dragoons are very low tempo plays inherently that force you into using your Brienne early. And that's not good when you are holding a Yavin as well.
So he also comes out right out of the gate, drops the Yorvith down, and hits that Ekamara, which Randy of Sintra then follows out by putting his first Necker on the board at 4 strength to set up the Necker value. And here comes the Vryhead Dragoon to pump up, obviously, I would say obviously, but I'm assuming Big Red. And there we go. Big Red gets 8 points.
So this is the problem. Like, Isengrim is not a very high point card. I mean, right now, you would have pulled Roach anyway, so you might argue that it's currently 7 plus 3 plus 1.5 because of Roach. I don't know how you would calculate that, but that's really low potential compared to what Isengrim can bring, and that's not worth it for the gold. These golds are starting to look semi-meh.
So what happened at this point, he puts some more, Sif goes ahead and continues his line of play. It looks like, really, if I'm watching this, they're kind of doing their own thing right now. They're building their boards. They're really not interacting with each other so much. Sif is using the Vryhead Dragoons to pump up King Bran for a later play, big swing. Randy of Sintra is dropping down Necker Warriors to go ahead and put some Neckers in his deck to call up later on. So looks like both of them are building for the late game. And then right as I say that, Sif goes ahead and hits the Manicore's Venom on the front row of Randy of Sintra. Nice little swing of points. But there comes the next Necker that has been seeded very well by Randy of Sintra.
Yeah, so right now, the Necker train is going. Like, it's not quite as effective as it used to be in terms of straight up points, but they can definitely put pressure into the later rounds. So right now, Sif needs to find a quick win because he wants to make good use of A, his Yavin, and B, his Brienne. So let's see what he actually does.
Now that giant toad, do you think that's a signal that this may be a behemoth consume?
This is not a behemoth list. You
not
would
a behemoth
be running
list.
Brands and behemoths, and he would have used First Light by now to pull out one of those combo pieces. It's definitely not.
Fair enough. So he goes in and he is going to eat a 4-cost minion. Not sure exactly what he ate there. Yavin goes down for card draw. He gets the aforementioned First Light.
Well, that's about time because he really needs to find some way to actually activate his Glace. Right now, his Glace has access to Manticore Venom. That's not good. And finally might he get his train of spells going. But this comes down to poor Mulligan. Really, that First Light should not have been thrown away.
So he gets a Skirmisher, does not get an Elven Mercenary, which does not keep the spell train going, which means the Neophyte army will stop at this point unless he uses King Bran to pull out pull out a decoy.
Even then, what are you decoying?
Vrihedd
there's no way to
Dragoon.
get more chain going.
Yeah.
I mean, his only real viable play to keep trying to put tempo and force the monsters out is to probably use either Nature's Gift if he's running it, or a Glace. I mean, there's no Nature's Gift anymore. I mean, Nature's Gift is a decent number of points, but it won't actually.
He does get good value out of that Scorch. Searching for the Scorch ends up being a 17-point play. A very nice seeding the Yavin over to his opponent, then scorching it away. Then feeding the Isengrim is now putting him up ahead in a very nice little 17-point swing there by Sif.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, getting 1 point ahead is really important. And also the nice thing is that there is no good Dagon target. And right now Scoretel's sitting quite pretty. Like, he's got access to multiple Scorches. I really wonder, I mean, I highly doubt it, but surely he's running like Elven Mercenaries in this deck, because I don't think I've seen one from him.
And I don't remember. What would you do? Now, here's an interesting scenario. He's down by 6. Big Red would be the swing for this round. He would use Big Red onto that 15 Ekamar, which would then neuter his second round play. Is that the play you want to make here, or do you want to save Big Red for round 3?
You always want to try to save Brian for round 3 if you can. Like, she's your win condition. Like, the other golds, yeah, they're nice, they're golds, but they don't actually have point potential in the same way a Brian does. Like, that one card, Brian, like, theoretically has up to 24 points. That is disgusting for a card.
So you would go Eggless into Scorch?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Either that or Yavin, but like, not Yavin, sorry, Milva.
Milva back. Okay, so he's going with Eggless. A glazed donut. I'm very hungry. Eggless pulls out a Scorch, as we said, and there goes the Ekamar, which takes away his turn 2 setup. Unless he has another Ekamar in hand, which is very possible. 42-25. Randy of Sintra could not feel too good about his state unless he has another Ekamara.
And it's really hurting him that, like, he has no option to, like, get points through his Dagon. His points are spread all over the road, so, like, I think Randy has to pass here, realistically speaking.
And he does. Sif takes it, and it's up. He's in a masterful position. There is 16 points on the board for Randy, which is very nice for round 2. But we see that there's the Elven Mercenary, so he does have them. Big Red can swing that very nastily in his favor. Plus he has Milva. It's looking pretty good for Sif in round 2.
Yeah, I think this game is basically over. Like, it's well, I mean, it might not be. We have to count the Neckers. I think we're on the 3rd Necker. So yeah. He used Necker Warrior twice, which means that there are a total of 7. So there are plenty of Neckers to come. They're not good to draw, though. And okay, he's going to pull away something. Roach, yeah, that makes sense. That prevents any kind of Milva Roach combo, but honestly, considering that Monster's passive, Milva Roach combo is very meh anyway. Oh, he's on rally now.
That's the second time. Randy's been very proactive in taking away the Roach plays. He used Sipper and Wiley the first game to take it away. Here he uses a Griffin to take it away. We see Sif going to his Mercenaries. No spells to be had. He's looking like he's still in a great position. In comes Dagon from Randy of Sentry. Goes for the first light, trying to pull a rally off. And he finds a Necker Warrior, which will put more Neckers or put more Griffins in his deck.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to bother putting more Neckers in because there's no way to pull out that many Neckers in the future. And Sif has got a very thin deck now. No spells to speak of. So that probably means he's going to draw like a fairly high quality card. Like, and Randy's basically completely out of it. Like, he can't pass because Brian is worth, what, 21? And he has to play his last card to try to survive.
Now, what do you think about that play? Using Milva to bounce that Toad back. What do you think about that play? That's putting the Toad back, which way he gets to draw another card. Or I guess he's figuring that Randy has a good card in hand, so he wants him to make him lose it. Is that correct?
No, it's not nothing to do with that. It's just proper sequencing. Like, if you play Brian first and then you Milva Brian back into your hand and lose 8 points.
Very good.
You have to play the Milva first.
So Randy of Sintra now has the Toad back in hand, and we don't know what the other card is. We're going to find out here shortly. It was a caretaker.
Probably a gold, all things considered. Like, it's the giant toad's not going to eat anything on the balance probability. There's just... I mean, there are 13 cards in deck, but a lot of those are neckers, so meh.
That was a great play, though. Caretaker and the Vryhead Dragoon ends up pumping up that toad, really making use of his cards and the card back in his hand. So it's a 12-point toad on the board, and that should be enough to carry this round.
I mean, like, see if there's gonna play the 4, right? He's got a 17-point Bran, which is more than enough to keep playing.
Yeah, never mind. It would tie it, which would give him the win.
No, so yeah, it would definitely give him the win. It's 17 point. That's 39. So like Randy is in a complete catch-22. He has to play his last card, and he plays his toad. And now the Codexhel player just passes. Actually, wait. No, that's now a 21-point Brian, which now draws. So he would win if he just kills off the toad, which he does.
Very good.
Easy game.
So we see right off the bat on both we're going to a game 3, a deciding game 3 in the championship. Sif goes ahead. Both Soyatel decks have won. We know that Randy of Central will be bringing a Monster Consume. We also know that Sif will be bringing a Skellige deck because we saw in his hand that he has Skellige. So the championship of the Bowstring Tension Cup will be decided by Skellige versus Monster Consume.
So this is the interesting thing, in the sense that, like I was saying earlier, that we might see something like a wounding Skellige, self-wounding Skellige with Warcry, which is, pretty much the only reason you'd ever run Crack on Crate. And in that sense, yeah, like, Monster Consume doesn't actually have very good direct counters to that, except for Geralt Igni, which is quite a common include. At the same time, though, Dagon will have limited effect, because generally you want to be spreading your own value, because Skellige generally wants to be running Igni themselves, or something like Coral. It's just, it's awkward to use Dagon offensively in this matchup.
I am very excited. I would like to see Skellige win, just for my own personal gratification. We will see. And here we go. The Bowstring Tension Cup brought to you by Coil Gaming every Monday at Battlefy.com. You can check out and register and join the action. It will be shoutcasted by the Gwent After Dark team of Shifu of the Cards. That's me and Codexhel.
Who's that?
I don't know. They're the one that brings the knowledge to the broadcast. Yes.
All right.
And just a reminder, while we load this up, Gwent After Dark can be seen every day, starting next week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. CST at the Passive Floor Championship on Twitch. All right, here we go. So the finals of the Bowstring Tension Cup by Coil Gaming. Sif and Randy of Sintra 1-1. Skellige versus Monster Consume.
So this can be actually one of the few archetypes in Skellige which can burst out a lot of power in round 1. And, Monster Consume doesn't tend to run very many disruptive options, so you can see that power actually outpower... Okay, and he's running archers, obviously. Archers are a really, really good option that can stagger your units and prevent just hard-out Gignies. This is a hard wounding, though. This isn't just simply a self-wounding deck because he's running Axemen. So this is interesting. I'm beginning to start the question if he's running Warcry now, which makes me wonder why are you running Croc? But anyway, Ulrich's good, Sigdreeper's good. Maybe you drop the Freya. You don't necessarily want too many Resurrects. You want to hold on to one Archer and as many Axemen as you can get your hands on, basically.
So he's going big into wounding. He's keeping 2 Stamina for Tremors for some massive synergy. It is odd to see all that wounding without seeing Herald the Cripple. And I did not see a Warcry like you mentioned. I'd be interested to see if he's going with a Warcry or just straight wounding. But it'd be very interesting to see. I'm sure he has at least one Warcry. I'd be shocked if he didn't with that build. So Randy of Central starts off with a Necker in round 1. Sif follows it up with looks like a Raging Berserker that he could easily activate by one of his archers.
Mm-hmm. So this is a tempo version of the Skellige. Like, I mean, I'm now starting to doubt that he's actually running Warcry because he's probably afraid of dealing with stuff like Gigny. I think this is a straight tempo. Like he's got like really high tempo options by activating his Raging Bear and his Axeman and he's running Holger Blackhand, for example. That's combined with the Axeman is a lot of tempo. So this is just a straight tempo deck.
And he brought out the Axeman, the aforementioned Axeman, the guy that you might see blow up to who knows how many points, especially with the cards he has in hand. A really nasty matchup for monsters, likes to flood the board. So those Stanford Tremors could hit for big damage. Pump the Axeman up to big points. Very, very interesting. Randy of Sintra drops Avalok to get some cards in hand.
So yeah, this is an example where Steve's like, oh, thanks for pulling out Roach for me, because I'm actually not going to be pulling out Roach until I play Gigny. So he's pretty happy that Avalok is happening right now. And it makes his chances for winning round 1 higher, which he's going to like because, he's that kind of deck.
So he's gonna go. You think he's gonna go Manticore here or Holger Blackhand? Holger Blackhand?
Probably Holger Blackhand. I mean, Manticore Venom feels awkward. He wants to save that for a better option.
And you see the power of it. The power of Holger Blackhand. He had 2 of his own. He had 2 of the opponent's units, which that does 4 damage right there. He hits his bear, which pumps it up by 5. So he gets 2, 4, 5 points off of that. 2, 4. I mean, you're looking at 9 points. Plus, it pumps up the Axeman by 2. It's an 11-point card. It's really great, great value from Holger Blackhand, synergizing with the Axeman, the Raging Berserker. Just such a great. He's up 34-4 already. That's got to be Randy of Sintra's got to be feeling a little apprehensive. He doesn't have Crones in hand.
Yeah, I mean, if he had Crones, maybe you could stabilize the tempo situation better. But right now he's made 2 very low tempo plays in a row, and this doesn't bode well. You never want to lose round 1 to Skellige because they just get more threatening as the rounds go on. And if you lose round 1, Skellige can basically take the pick of the bunch in terms of their round 3 situation.
So he continues to seed the Neckers as we look. Randy of Sintra is down by 25. You're in a powerful position as Sif. Do you just go ahead and pass here? Do you continue to just make sure you win this round and put the stamp on it? What are you thinking?
You never pass in this situation. You want to give him as much of a reason to lose round 1 as possible, because if you win round 1 as Skellige in this matchup, you are basically maybe a 70% favorite, and if same monsters consume as a 30% dog is pretty intense. You never ever pass until they pass.
Now, do you think by Randy playing that Necker Warrior that he does not have Crones in hand?
I mean, he can have Crones in hand. This guy could just be trying to slow play it, and honestly, Crones wouldn't be enough, but in this meta, winning 2 cards down is better than losing 2 cards up. So, who knows? He might be holding it to try to bait his opponent into passing prematurely.
And the Manticore Venom comes down. He clears out one of the Neckers, which brings in the other Necker. Now he was able to seed it with Necker Warrior, so there are Neckers in his deck. He is okay with that. Randy of Sintra is looking at his options. He's down 37-4. This is the championship round of the Bowstring Tension Cup. I don't know what he has in hand, but I would imagine if he had Crones, it'd be a good time to bring those ladies out.
I mean, it depends if he wants to actually truly contest this round, because, there's a double-edged thing, right? He's still got, 4 Neckers stuck to the bottom of his deck. So that means 12, and he's balanced. He could balance up the option of whether or not he will draw Crones. I mean, I suspect he doesn't have Crones by now, because you probably would have played it by now. But at the same time, people have been known to try to save Crones for later rounds for their just straight up value.
And there we go. Randy of Sintra goes ahead, and as you suggested, he goes ahead and drops round 1. Doesn't contest it too strong, just used it as an ability to go ahead and seed his deck with sweet, sweet Neckers. He's up in card advantage 9-8. Sif will go first, so we have a card and a half, 2-card advantage on him, which bodes well. But he can't feel too good. I would imagine his hand is pretty bad if that's the plays we saw from round 1.
Okay, so it's worth noting that Randy lost the coin flip, but he played Avalok, and he has no more access to card advantage options except for Octopus, which I don't think he's running. I don't believe he actually has room for Octopus in his deck. And in that case, that means that any spies for Sif will be hugely impactful if he manages to pull them.
Well, let us find out. I know that in his hand right now, he has a 16-point card with Croc on Crate. He has 2 Tremors in hand, which would really destroy his board. He doesn't have an Axeman to get the punish yet, but of course he has 2 Resurrectors to get the 1 Axeman he does have back. So he's in a pretty strong position, plus Geralt Igni for a massive smash of a Necker deck.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets a 1-point Necker Warrior and a follow-up Necker to go to the board, so he only has 4 points on the board. He gets a Raging Berserker, and he gets another Priestess of Freya to his hand.
Okay, so just looking at Sif's hand, like the cards that seem least valuable are multiple Stablefords. I mean, just looking at it, like Sif has to keep playing if he wants to force Randy to use extra cards because he doesn't have access to a spy.
Now he goes ahead and gets the bear there. Are you surprised by that?
No, I mean that's the most power. Like he's trying to put a bit of tempo on his opponent so that there's a chance that his opponent will actually have to go down an extra card to beat him. So he's trying to put as many points as possible, as quickly as possible, in order to set up a good Stableforge Tremors, because Randy's going to have to commit more extra units, which will likely be small, hopefully. Or if they go big, like there's always Gigny, and you don't want to hold Gigny for round 3, so it's just good. You want to put points of pressure just to either force a large creature so you can kill it with Gigny, or a small creature that you can kill with Stammelfords.
And there goes Randy of Sintra using the Griffin to take away, once again, Roach. Randy of Sintra is a Roach thief, and I mean that in the best possible way. So here we go. The Axeman is on the board. Randy of Sintra hoping he has no, like you said, he has no way of messing up the other person's board. It doesn't look like he's running an Alzur's Thunder, so that Axeman is going to be unimpeded to point heaven.
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly awkward. I mean, Croc is nice in that it's a lot of points for 1 card, so he's probably going to conserve that for round 3, I imagine. You got the Ghoul going off for extra power. So, right now, Sif could pass for a card if he wanted to, but at the same time, his hand quality isn't that good. Like, he's got extra. Oh, he steals the Roach back.
Yes, how sweet! How sweet is that? Take that. I want my Roach back, sir. You've taken it 2 straight games. This Roach belongs to me.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. He still wants to dump a Stammelford. He still wants to dump probably Gigny and a Raging Berserker before the end of the next round, because like ideally his hand would look something like Sigurdrifa, King of Beggars, Croc, and maybe 1 Stammelford if you can potentially get good value in conjunction with the Axeman. But otherwise, he's trying to set up getting rid of his bad cards, you know.
And here come the ladies finally making an appearance on the board. The Crones are going to hit the board here, and that's going to give him a nice little point buff to get himself firmly back into round 2.
Kind of, because that enables Stammelford's Tremors. So, we'll see. I mean, both Stammelford's Tremors might be committed. So I think, basically, right now he's looking for a good Gigny somewhere, and then he'll drop both Tremors, maybe, and the Raging Berserker, and then he'll pass.
There goes the Stammelford Tremor, really devastating the board, pumping up his Axemen. Really great play by Sif. Randy of Sintra looks like he is just running headlong into a punishing Sif counterattack.
At the same time, there's actually a lot of potential for a good Fog. So this is something that actually hasn't happened in any of the previous games involving Dagon. Like, because, Randy's not invested into the range row at all. And here comes an Igni. Not the most impressive, but it's, 16 points. Pretty good considering this game state.
Yeah, and he's really lowering the value of Randy of Sintra's board constantly, even though that Gigny wasn't exactly the most devastating. He is consistently pushing him down, while that Axeman he's setting up another really nice Stammelford play to further crush Randy of Sintra's board and pumping up that Axeman, which would, of course, bring it up past the bear into Scorch or Gigny range if even Randy of Sintra runs one of those cards, which I doubt he does.
I mean, Gigny is fairly common in monsters consumed, so I wouldn't rule out Gigny. Scorch, on the other hand, is like Magnificent Scorch.
And there comes the second Stammer for Trent. It looks like it's going to come here soon. Blasting the side of Randy's board, and Seif is really in a commanding position right now.
I mean, potentially he could even go for the 2-0. Like, I mean, I don't think he will, because that's committal in a situation that, like, you know, he's favored round 3 anyway. He doesn't need to go all in. Like, that might be championship throwing. Like, I mean, genuinely though, like you gotta look at this keep and think about, like, is it actually worth it? Okay, so another Necker. So there's gonna be 2 Neckers popping out of his deck next round. So, I mean, no, this is an extra incentive for him to maybe go all in.
So you're thinking go ahead and use Croc on Crate's ability this round, end it, but maybe save Sigrifa till last?
Game actually is more the...
I'm sorry? Looks like we have lost Codexhel. We will try to reestablish contact. But as we see the board right here, I'm going to go ahead and hang up and recall him here and get him back on the line. As we stand right here in the final chapter of the Bowstring Tension Cup, we're in round 2. It's a best of 3 conquest format. Randy of Sintra is down. He lost the first set. They're tied 1-1. Seif has the impetus this turn. He will be going. And he has a tough decision to make. Does he go for all in and try to win this round, or does he just wait and hold Croc on Crate till the end round 3? I think we've reestablished a connection with Codexhel. Are you there?
Yep.
All right.
Where are we at now?
All right, so I paused the action, so we're still good. And we're waiting for Seif's turn. And here we go.
So, looking at it now, like, this is a very finely poised position because now there's 2 Neckers on the board. Like, there'll be 2 Neckers for next round as well, which means that the monster keep will be better than if the Necker hadn't been played. On the other hand, he has to be really considerate of, like, you know, just basically the keep potential. It's quite finely balanced. Like, both players can win, actually, from this position.
Or does he pass here and just see how many cards it takes Randy to beat him?
Raging Berserker's an awkward keep. It's only 8 points. I mean, he's going to pass. Okay. That's interesting. It's not terrible. Definitely not.
So he does pass, which then sets him up, unfortunately, to a fog turn. The fog turn, great play by Randy of Sintra, will lose some points. Matter of fact, lose 19 points. Still have him a 1 point advantage.
Yeah, so he should play a consume if he has it to improve his keep for next round.
And then he
just passed.
And I think he's going to. That was a beautiful play. He uses the things. He can use the Ekamara to give himself a 15-point card going into round 3. So we are tied going into round 3 this is how you want to do it, right? You want to go to the fourth quarter all tied championship round. 2 great players going at it. Randy of Sintra and Seif. 1-1 in this third round. 1-1 in game best of 3. And it comes down to this. Skellige versus Monster Consume. With Monster Consume having a 15-point card on the ground, plus a Necker, plus another Necker. 27-0. Randy Sintra looks pretty strong going into the last round here.
Yeah, I actually feel like Skellige might be... I mean, okay, so there's no Gigby left. So what's he got? Like, if he has Coral, Seif wins, probably. Like, no. So it's not a Coral, so he's got no wounding real access. Like, the only access he has are the archers, which he might actually be compelled to res. Yeah, I'm not sure actually Seif has the pieces that he needs, especially if Randy has a Kara and this game is completely over.
So he uses Sigdrifa to pull out Udralik, which pulls out a Necker Warrior. That can't be what he was looking for.
No, I mean, he sacrificed okay, I mean, let's be honest. It's 1 point fewer than actually, it's exactly the same points as a bear because it reses 2 things. Well, so Sigurdrifa gained an extra point. So he wasn't what he was looking for, but it's not terrible.
So 36-18. It's now on Randy of Sintra. He is, don't know what he has in hand, but it's looking pretty solid. Uses the Ekamar to eat the Necker, which does two things. It gives him point value and pumps up the other two Neckers. So he's up 44-18.
Oh gosh, I don't know how Skellige is going to do it now. Like, he's going to have to use the Archer for points, I presume. He's going to have to probably hit two of his the enemy units and his own Berserker. I mean, Berserker only gains 3 points from it now because it's being played in round 3. Super awkward.
So what he does is King of Beggars, which gives him a Priestess of Freya, and he pulls out the bear.
Okay, so this game hinges on whether this is Kieran, basically. If it's not Kieran, Randy Asincha probably doesn't have enough points. But if Sif, Sif's point potential is exactly what it is on the lid. It's 30 points total, 16 from Croc and 14 from his hand. So he's at 70. So let's see if Randy can generate an extra 26 points.
Randy drops down another 8-point Necker. Now, if you're Sif right here, it looks like you're dropping down an Axeman. How are you going to activate the Axeman's ability from this point?
You don't. Your hand is completely uninteractive. You just play your cards in an order of your choosing. There's no difference anymore.
So you're just right now you're on a 16-point course.
Yeah, you want to play 6, and then the other 2 cards don't matter because you want to limit the effect of Lacerate. But Lacerate doesn't win in the game either. So you're just basically watching to see if he's got Kieran.
The Manticore's Venom comes down, and judging by, it looks to me, if I'm doing the points correctly, I think Sif will win it based on 16-8, gives him 24.
Sif wins.
Yeah, Sif will win.
Sif wins. He's at 70 and like 14. Oh, sorry, Manticore is 12 points, so that puts that at 64, which isn't more than 70. So Sif takes it by 6
What
points.
there they go. There comes the Clock on Crate Raiders, and there goes a Raging Berserker, and there goes the championship to Sif. Great play. Great job, Sif. Skellige remains the best deck in the world. You saw it here first. No. Great job. Randy of Central played that very well. 2 high-level players playing at the top of their game. Only at the Bowstring Tension Cup, and I don't know why Bob the Builder's there, but he's there, and Bob the Builder approves. Don't know where that came from. All right.
Well, congratulations to Sif on a job well done. I think he held his nerve to come back from a game down. Really good job. Really convincing wins in both cases, actually. Like, I think especially with the third game, just taking round 1 as Skellige, just put him in such a dominant position. Like, Randy, if he held Kieran, he would have won. But that's it. Like, Randy needed 1 card in his entire deck to swing that game, considering he was going in against Skellige round 3 with just his monster passive and no Kieran. It's just very, very tough.
And you saw the Skellige meat and potatoes. They're going to do what they do. They're going to put points on the board. We saw the beauty of Sif's deck where he just went with no Warcry, but he went with, we're going to do a lot of damage to your side, and I'm going to get the biggest point valued hero card in Skellige and just put 16 points on the board. Thought process being, I'm going to have more points than you by either straight power or reducing your power and just overwhelm you. The key word there being power. Sif with a great win.
Yeah, and I really think one of the instructive points is that in tournament play, you can go for decks that are very different from ladder decks, in the sense that, if you're expecting to go up against Monsters Consume, it doesn't matter if you stack up points in a very greedy way like the Skellige deck does, because that deck runs very few control options. If you don't give them a very good Gigny because you stagger them with Archer, say, like, that's their only control option, and you can basically make the rest of your units absolutely ginormous, which will overpower like a very much less greedy deck, like the old style Ekamara Consume.
Very good. So of the two, how do you feel? What do you think? Your first shoutcasting for Gwent. What'd you think? How do you like the Bowstring Tension Cup thus far?
It's pretty interesting. I would have liked to see a best of 5 personally, but at the same time, when you get to the end of a very long day, I mean, it's a tournament over one day, so it's you're gonna have less room for just spamming lots of best of 3s and best of 5s, right? So that's why I prefer the Pass the Flores format. But hey, I'm not biased at all. Why are you looking at me like that?
Wow. All right. So we lost our job on the first shoutcast. Yeah. No, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I never know what you're gonna say, man. It makes it very entertaining to do a show with you. I liked it. I think it was very well done. I was like nice little cut tournament. I think that if you want to be part of the scene, this is a great tournament to get a part of. We'll shoutcast it for you. Hopefully we call the action to your favor and highlight some of the great plays you're making. I think both Seif and Randy of Cintra made some outstanding plays, high-level plays. I think Seif deserved to win. I think Randy of Cintra deserved to be in the finals. They played great, and they deserved first and second place respectively. They did get some great prizes from Bowstring Tension Cup. If you go to the link, and as a matter of fact, and now that I remember this, Turtle from Bowstring Tension Cup told me that on the YouTube link, there's going to be a link which shows you if you type in on the show today, ! bracket, you'll see everybody that competed and the rankings and so on. And also there's going to be a link to show you the prizes they give away for the Bowstring Tension Cup. Join up Monday. Sign up. Battlefy.com. The link will be on the thing. It's always on the Discord. Be a part of it. Be shoutcasted. Get famous, man. So Codexhel, I'm gonna leave you the final words. What do you think? How do you like to end your final thoughts of the Bowstring Tension Cup, our first shoutcast together?
Well, big shout out to the Coil Gaming guys. Thanks for hosting the tournament as I opened this show with. And I hope to see you again on future shows. Cheers, guys.
Very good. Codexhel, thank you very much for being my partner here. You can see us on Gwent After Dark on gwentafterdark.podbean.com for our podcast. Every day this week on www.twitch.tv/Passion Championship. We'll be there, and we're going to shoutcast this cup. Hopefully they didn't fire us. We'll shoutcast it every week, and we're glad to do it. Thank you all so much for having us, putting up with this. Hope you learned some things, and it was always nice throwing softballs up to Codexhel so he can show all of his great knowledge of the game. So Shifu the Card signing off. Thank you very much. Coil Gaming, thank you. Y'all have a great day.